Alrighty, well, what the hell? Let's go ahead and do a video about Dr. Wolff. Why not? A firestorm has occurred because Dr. Wolff, or Professor Wolff, mind you, excuse me, was on Jimmy Dore talking about how vaccine mandates are bad and saying that vaccine mandates are involved with larger issues. And now he's pretty much, he hasn't quite been tossed away yet, but I think people feel that he has lost a lot of credibility. This is not surprising. The reason I say this, and we obviously see the title with science right there, is that people simply rely on the science to say, get your vax, get the vax, get the vax. But now that people aren't getting the vaccine, which it must be a real serious issue because now they're declaring mandates about it, you think that it would be part of the larger whole. But no, people simply say, they're just not getting paid enough, and the unions are this and that. It's purely because of that. And of course, people like Vosh said basically, if you're a worker and you oppose the vaccine, basically screw you. You deserve to get fired. It's the same thing, I guess, when talking about trans rights or whatever. So we see that once again, the idea of the worker doesn't matter, and it's only certain workers that we care about. This is not, like I said, this isn't surprising, and the fact that Richard Wolff went on Jimmy Dore is probably because he just felt, this was the way to go. People have already disliked Richard Wolff for various reasons. I think he's he's an old guy that he's fairly well spoken. I think that he's done a lot of genuine research. But the thing is, he speaks with a forked tongue, particularly about China, where he's like, well, look at all the great things that China has done. China has made an amazing. I can't do his voice. I'm not going to embarrass myself. But the thing is, of course, he's like, well, he's still an American at the end of the day. He's still an American. He still, has to maintain this sort of thing. And he's Mr. Co-op. He's Mr. Co-op. He's Mr. Let's talk about, let's do that sort of thing. We're seeing this real big shift. And like I said, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The left and the right in the United States, if you genuinely have read Mao or read Marx or whatever, you do not have any power. If you're like a genuine, distant right-wing person, you're not in power. And you don't have anybody to really, get any support from. What, Steve Bannon? No. It's not happening. The reality is that people can cope about, climate crisis all they want to, and, they can cope about all these sorts of things. I see that guy Prolicolt, whoever that guy is, that Anglo. And like I say, he makes some fairly well-made videos. I'll put it that way, it's well-made videos. But of course, now his next video is going to be about fascism and all that sort of thing. The thing is this, man, is what are you going to do to stop it? Protests? That's why it's so much, like I say, it's like they're a real, it's amazing to me how co-opted things have become. Where, you had a Bavarian People's Republic in Germany in 1919. And now, fast forward 102 years, I mean, mind you, that's a long ways. A lot of stuff has happened in between it. Let's be honest. But we come to a point now where we can't even get decent wages for people. You know, so this is where we are, everybody. This is where we are. And like I say, I've barely even talked about Dr. Wolff, but let's get back on point with that. The thing is, Dr. Wolff is somebody that I think is more of an old school Marxist guy who can still be against right wing type stuff or whatever, but can see that mandates are a part of this. And of course, like I said, there are people who, of course, are just like, just get the shot, bro, just get the shot. And do they give any real critique against the pharmaceutical companies? No, there's little to no pushback against them at all in any form. They're just like, well, whatever. And of course, people are going to say, well, there are some people, I'm sure that there's people like James Medlock or whatever on Twitter, the social democrat, who's just like, actually taxes are a good thing and the left should support taxes. And just, I mean, at the end of the day, these folks can LARP as much as they want to, and they can appeal to that sort of Voshite sort of crowd. But ultimately, they're still going to give in to larger democratic demands. And we've seen this with people like Vosh, who try to make these impassioned speeches about why you should support the Democrats, because basically at the end of the speech, he's like, it's the old battle of, socialism versus barbarism or whatever. It's just like, he didn't actually say that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm putting in my own words, but it's just like, really? It's just pitiful cope. And then of course people are like, well, progressives could do this, and it's just ridiculous. Like I say, Democrats I'm sure are gonna win more votes, bro. And they like I said, this is the continued. I was gonna make another video about this, but screw it. Let's just combine it in this video too, where for Democrats to win is for them to become more outright, at least not even socialistic, but just social democratic. That's the only way that they can go. Whereas the right wing, supposedly the Republicans, have to go more fascist. It's like, the thing is, Republicans will do anything they can to get any sort of support. You know. But anyway, I think it's ridiculous. I know I say that pretty much every video. I think it's ridiculous, but what else can you really say about this? Where you're just like, well, the science, and yet they're just like, well, Joe Biden's dumb, but I don't really want to join those Trumpers who are talking about him, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have this magical centrist sort of take where it's like, I don't love Democrats, but I don't, you're just like, ugh. It's like, yeah, people have been saying it's like, yeah, people voted for Biden because they didn't like Trump, and they held their nose and voted for him. Sure, okay, but then you want to cope about Bernie? It's like, we've seen that what has Bernie Sanders done, bro? Bernie Sanders has co-signed a lot of this because he's a tired old man. And it shows that even if he did become president, he would sell out too. And like I say, we see plenty of these MAGA-pedes and the remnants of the America First crowd who want to cope about, or not even cope. They want to have this fake celebration like Youngkin is going to be a stopgap. No, you're a fucking retard if you genuinely think that Youngkin is going to change everything or like change course. No, it's too late. It is too late. I'm going to repeat that. It's too late. Wake up. There are a lot of folks who are just like, oh, well, if you know, once Duncan comes in, he's gonna reverse CRT. You know, no, he's not. No, he's not. It will still occur, and he's just gonna say, oh, I've always been somebody who's respected trans rights and stuff. He's gonna figure out whatever way he can. I mean, people are like, oh, Republicans are the real fascists, and they're all. It's just ridiculous that you still think in the dichotomy of Democrat versus Republican. I'm beyond that to a point. I'm just gonna see who's gonna join what group, and it's gonna be beyond Democrat and Republican. Yeah, the structures of the Democratic and Republican Party will continue on, just as the Chinese couldn't get rid of certain Confucian aspects of Chinese culture. It's like, no, it's ingrained in people. You can't get rid of all this stuff. So yeah, Democrats and Republicans, those ideas are still going to be there, and the ideas and the way the marketing is used in the advertising, absolutely, the political ads, yeah, that will continue on. But to actually think that, oh yeah, well, Democrats, Republicans, and you live in this false dichotomy, you've already lost. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's frustrating to see, but I just wanted to put out a video about it, and I think it's unfortunate that the meme has to prove itself. The idea of the left eating itself, and yeah, Dr. Richard Wolff gets thrown into the mix. He gets he's off the socialist bus now. It's like, how dare you say things about that? How dare you say that was pure? I don't think he said. I'll just finish up with this because now I'm on a roll now. But I don't think Dr. or Professor Wolff was saying, yeah, all the strikes and whatnot are purely because of mandates. No, I think you misread it. And the fact that he was saying you're against mandates and that you're somehow playing into the anti-vax crowd, it shows how tone deaf you are and how much of a loser you are. That you're just like, yeah, screw you. You need to take your shot, bro. And it's just like, well, even libs will be like, well, unless you're immunocompromised. But a lot of lefties don't even do that. So it's just, like I say, I wish that some collapse would happen in the United States, but I think that it's just going to implode, and it's going to be the same retarded bullshit. We're still going to be under the same structure. That's the sad thing, is that even when this country falls, it's still going to be a fucking mess. Well, obviously it would, but it's like, and it would still be that way 100, 200 years later, long after you and I are dead. I don't know. I'm just playing with my big old wrench here. Pretty nice, actually. Nearly 2 inches it can go to do that, yeah. And it's got smooth. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for making this long, and yeah, I know the laundry's done. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoy that. So see you later. Goodbye.